was labelled highly confidential and was only allowed to be read by certain police officials. Little did they know was that the document was leaked back to Rawa and his associates. Late in 2022, they arrested a suspect of the Bridge Network, another Swedish gang. Upon further investigation, they found a silver iPhone. After taking a closer look at this iPhone and going through its contents, they found the highly confidential reports they had made to help Turkey. Someone had leaked it. Swedish police immediately rang the alarm and called this leak extremely serious. A Swedish official suspects a Turkish government official of leaking the document, though they do not have any concrete evidence yet. After all that turmoil in Turkey, Rawa and his Foxtrot gang found themselves in yet another very heated feud in late 2022. This time it was with Mikael Tenezos and his Darlin gang. Though it must be said that the feud might have already started as early as 2020. Mikael Tenezos is a 25-year-old man, also referred to as the Greek, who, despite his young age, has allegedly managed to become a leading figure of the Darlin gang and also lived abroad for his own safety. Mikael used to be a promising hockey player, who slowly but surely strayed away from school and hockey to hang out with his gang. Some of his former hockey teammates were surprised to hear what has become of their former teammates. "For me, it's completely unimaginable," one of the team leaders said. "Mikael would have made it far if he had stuck to hockey," another leader said. "He was a guy who took matters into his own hands and trained very hard. People respected him. It was known that he hung out in the wrong circles, even as a youngster."
And that's why he grew up in that gang and got to the bag. So he took matters into his own hands. Bro wasn't afraid of nothing, probably. Heard you, alright. This shit right here? That makes sense.
A former teammate said. It was clear that his association with the gangs at an early age led to Mikael moving on from hockey and focus more and more on the gang life. Swedish crime journalists have said that the feud stems from a battle over the supply of narcotics in the city of Sundsvall. The city of Sundsvall was long supplied by the Darlin gang. Rawa Majid's Foxtrot gang has tried to muscle themselves in on the Sundsvall market, which led to the start of...
Heard you, alright. That makes a lot of sense now. That makes a lot of sense now with the context, no bullshit. Alright, now I switch over to this side. It's crazy, bro. I couldn't even imagine. No bullshit.
The feud, as the Darlin gang was not going to let that happen. However, it should be noted that it is also reported that it was actually the Foxtrot gang that had control over the city of Sundsvall, and that the Darlin gang tried to force its way in. Either way, it had become a battle for turf, and it definitely has not been something we have seen before in Sweden. This feud is truly ruthless. In the first 26 days of this year, there had already been 13 bomb attacks, meaning there was one attack every 2 days.
That's insane, bro. That's like active Warzone numbers, no bullshit. These dudes was out here playing Battlefield 6 in real life, fuck GTA.
One of the most notable incidents in this feud happened on the 21st of January 2023. A video surfaced that depicted once again how reckless this feud was, as well as how far these foot soldiers went. The video shows an apparent teenager. You can hear their young voices briefly, armed with a Kalashnikov, stand in front of a door as he takes his time to load the firearm. He aims at the door, then unleashes 15 bullets right through the door. The apartment was home to the ex-girlfriend of rapper Thrife, who is said to be linked to the Greek. Rapper Thrife, however, was not in the apartment. His ex-girlfriend and her young child were. As somewhat of a wonder, no one got hurt. The attack seemed to be done purely as a scare tactic, and was filmed as a sort of trophy, where people used to snatch chains and other personal items of their enemies as trophies back in the day. This younger generation films their actions to show the world their ruthlessness. As if things weren't already bad enough in Sweden, on September 11th, 2023, the feud claimed its youngest victims thus far. The remains of a 13-year-old boy were found in a forest in the Swedish municipality of Haninge after he had been reported missing. The young boy was said to have ties to several gangs, one of which was Rawa's Foxtrot gang. It was
13 is insane, bro. 13?
Another all-time low in the feud. Though it must be said the victims being such young boys weren't an exception. Less than 2 months prior to this incident, the remains of Laith al-Azawi and Mohammed Sulaiman were found in the Stockholm region. Both boys were only 14 years old. It was believed that both boys resold weapons they had gotten from the Foxtrot gang. When they weren't able to retrieve the weapons, the leaders of the Foxtrot gang were out to make them an example and had them whacked. On the 12th of September, just a day after they found the 13-year-old boy, another man was found. He was removed off the playing field in the stairwell of a building, a relative of Rawa.
Bro, this dude has to stop saying removed from the playing field. This shit is so crazy, like... You got everybody from 13 to 65 dying over there, bro. It's so wild.
Lived in this building and was most likely the intended target. He was believed to be involved in Rawa's Foxtrot gang as someone who kept money of the gang. While Rawa's Foxtrot gang and Mikael's Darling gang were fighting in Sundsvall, they simultaneously battled for turf in Umeå, one of the fastest growing cities in Sweden. In the beginning of September 2023, a Darling gang member struck a Foxtrot gang member. Right after this incident, crime reporter Diamant Salihu said, "They use a lot of violence. Umeå's residents may see a type of violence they have never seen before. If you are a relative of those involved in this feud, you are a direct target." He went on to say that there are serious reasons to be worried about this escalating situation. A question that might arise for you, and which certainly did for me, was, where do they get all these firearms from? Well, according to reports by the Global Initiative Against Transnational Organized Crime, the Rawa's Foxtrot gang, as well as other Swedish criminal gangs, are supplied by Balkan arms smugglers with assault rifles, Serbian pistols, and unused stock of Yugoslav-era hand grenades. Organized crime groups that are mostly located in Serbia set up proxies in Sweden to receive these weapons. The firearms are dismantled into parts and are then sent by road along well-travelled drug routes into Scandinavia, oftentimes across the Öresund Bridge, a 16-kilometre long bridge that connects Denmark to the Swedish city of Malmö. A third of all illegal handguns in Greater Stockholm are Serbian Zastavas. Most weapons are shipped on order. A Kalashnikov often comes with complimentary hand grenades as a sort of gift. Hand grenades
Bro, I remember when I was first told by you that this is a thing over here in Sweden, where people get grenades for buying guns. But now I've seen it confirmed in 2 documentaries, and I've heard it rapped about in a song. This shit is insane as fuck, bro.
bought separately would only cost 100 krona, or about $9 or fewer than €9. These firearms and grenades then end up in the hands of Rawa's young soldiers and those of his enemies. Besides the many enemies Rawa has made in opposing gangs, trouble was also brewing in Rawa's own Foxtrot gang. In the past few months, his gang wasn't as tight anymore as they used to be. A conflict had arisen within the gang itself, which led to members turning against each other. Ismail Abdo, once a close confidant of Rawa and labelled as his right-hand man, has allegedly turned against him after a drug deal went wrong this summer, according to the police. This plays a major part in why relatives have now become targets of the violence. They are friends who have known each other for many, many years. They know where someone's relatives are. They know each other's weaknesses, Swedish crime reporter Diamant Salihu said. The split allegedly resulted in a shooting in Istanbul on the 6th of September. On CCTV footage, it can be seen that 2 men arrive on a moped. One of them hops off and fires several shots towards 5 people. These 5 people in turn fired back. No one was seriously injured. As immediate revenge for this shooting,
So you're saying 6 people shot each other and no one got hit? Insane. And $13 for a grenade is wild too, bro. What the hell?
the 60-year-old mother of Ismail Abdo was removed off the playing field just a day later. Though we have seen a lot of unprecedented loads already, this is a good depiction of how ruthless Rawa and his gang were. Not even someone's mother was safe. Just 4 days later, there was another shooting. This time, it was aimed at Rawa's mother-in-law. A man repeatedly knocked on her door, however, she did not open. After a few minutes, the man shot her apartment and fled. Had she opened that door, she most likely would have not survived. Then, 2 days after that shooting, a man was removed off the playing field. Upon further investigation, it was determined that the man, Mogos Emanuel, did not have any connection to the conflict and was at the wrong place at the wrong time.
I don't believe that at all.
The intended target was a family member of Rawa. The split of the Foxtrot gang will most likely change the criminal landscape as new groups will form and new alliances will be made. Police Chef Mats Baki even went as far to say that the Foxtrot gang does not even exist anymore after the split, as well as that Rawa Majid is not as strong anymore as he used to be due to his allies leaving him, being jailed or 6 foot deep. As for now, Swedish police are keeping a very close eye on the situation, hoping to gather valuable intelligence and potentially even use the tumult as an opportunity to sneak in and dismantle entire gangs, or at least arrest key figures. On the 28th of September 2023, Swedish Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson said that he had summoned the head of the military to discuss how the armed forces could help police deal with the unprecedented wave of violence that has the country in a chokehold, with almost daily shootings and bombings. Getting the military involved in crime fighting is something highly unusual. It truly emphasizes how serious the problem in Sweden is. Sweden has never seen anything like this before, Kristersson said in a televised speech to the nation. No other country in Europe is seeing anything like this. Sweden has grappled with gang violence for years, but the outburst of shootings and bombings in September has been unheard of, and even saw 3 people passing in just 12 hours due to gang violence, with the explosion of a home in Uppsala that took the life of an innocent woman as an absolute low point. Swedish media have linked the latest surge in violence to a feud between Rawa and Abdo, and it seems like Sweden is in no way, shape or form ready to step in and end this violence. Swedish laws aren't designed for gang wars and child soldiers, Kristersson said. It is also mentioned that part of the reason gun violence continues to rise in Sweden is that those involved in shootings don't care about any repercussions because the conviction rate is so low. In more than 2/3 of the shootings, no one is arrested and only 1/5 of gang-related gun homicides are solved. So at the time of writing this, Sweden is left to battle a problem that only seems to get worse. From the ongoing shootings throughout the country, to Rawa Majid remaining at large and out of the hands of Swedish authorities, to young boys who are waiting in line to work for the gangs. For now, there does not seem to be a solution that would solve all this violence. It is expected that Rawa remains hidden somewhere in Turkey, and that young boys will keep on working for the gangs at the cost of their own future. Many more videos on this topic will follow. This was just the start. If you have enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like, a comment sharing your thoughts, and subscribe if you haven't already. It only takes a second and immensely helps the channel. See you in the next one.
I mean, after a certain point, I mean, they said 85% of all gang members are either immigrants or born to an immigrant parent. I mean, at a certain point, you gotta stop letting immigrants in, bro. Do I ever want it to be peaceful there? I mean, but at the same time, you could do like, um, they could do like what Nayib Bukele did over in El Salvador, arrested everybody's a gang member connected to a gang member. And only after thorough interrogation, investigation, and whatnot, if you're not a gang member, you can get released. Other than that, it's a dub. It's sad though, cause like yeah, like I know about these dudes. They make good music, but at the same time, though, like they want their country back, bro, to be peaceful as how it was. And start locking up everybody and closing your borders down. Crazy as hell.